Hello and welcome to Cranky Gamers UK, or AJ UK, whichever you prefer, part of the Achievement Junkie family. Alright, I'm your host Kid Dogg, and joining me this week, as ever, is our chief crank, Mr. Toz.
Hello everybody, back again for another week of craziness, and yep, gonna enjoy it I think.
Also with us this week we have MLG Rising Star, I think we can get away with saying that, Mr. Fox.
Hey everybody.
Hey Fox. And of course, joining us all the way from Reno, but it ain't Reno 911, it's MongoBear.
Good morning all.
Alright guys, welcome to the show. Now, you know this show, you know we're cranky, and we've got a very special topic later on that you're going to enjoy. So let's hit into what we've been playing this week. So Toz, what have you been playing this week?
Yep, managed to get hold of, as you know, got a PS2 last week, hold of a second-hand one, and I've picked up God of War. First time I've ever seen it, played it. I've got to say, fantastic game, stunning. Played it for 5 hours solid yesterday. Really enjoying it. Should be a game I finish within a few days. Played a bit of Tiger Woods 07, as we still can't play 08. Sore point. Yeah, I think that's just about it this week. Played a little bit of DS of a new game that I'll probably talk about in a few weeks. But that's about it for me, I'm afraid. Not much.
I think you're missing something.
What? Guitar Hero?
No, it's the thing you've been playing most nights with me and a lot of AJers.
Oh, yeah, we forgot. God, it's that bad, innit? Yeah, obviously Call of Duty. It's probably because I'm that rubbish at it. But yeah, Call of Duty beta. I think the world's on it now. But we did finally get on after last week's moan and complain. And we've probably going to change his mind a little bit, me and Kid, as we did have a bit of a moan about it, saying that it was a little bit overrated. I still think it's been a little bit overrated, but it is enjoyable, and I'm not usually a first-person player. Don't do very well at them. But we've been having some great fun with all the AJers. We'll probably be on it again tonight. So yeah, it's slightly overhyped, I think, in my opinion. But yeah, I have been playing that, and I am enjoying it just, I should say. So yeah, that's about it for me then.
Alright, Fox, what have you been playing this week?
I have been playing a lot of Bioshock. I just started the campaign on hard, and I'm finding that to be, as it is, very hard. I have also been playing a lot of Call of Duty with you guys, and a lot of the AJers. And I wanted to buy Skate, but funds were limited.
Yes, and Fox has now become a catchphrase on the AJ forums, because it's now follow the Fox, because he's the only person who knows what the heck he's doing. And Mongo, what have you been playing this week?
Well, this week's been pretty light for me. My job has kind of kept me away from my system, so it kind of sucked in that respect. But started playing COD 4 last night, and I'll be honest, it was I haven't heard much hype on this, and I haven't heard much in the way of good or bad things. But after playing for about 5 or 10 minutes, game is graphically beautiful, and it reminds me a lot of Counter-Strike. I don't know if it's just this particular game, but I've never played any of the COD series prior to this, so it's pretty enjoyable. And I have to admit, when you get a good team behind you or playing with a bunch of people you know, it's actually enjoyable. But just to get on the hit with Bioshock, I've already completed that game. And Fox, yeah, the hard level is, or hard difficulty is a bit of a bear, no pun intended, but I was able to go through it in probably 3 days on that level.
I've enjoyed Bioshock as well, but just going back to Call of Duty for everybody, a little bit of a question before we move on. Did you guys find it a little bit fast and manic-paced, a lot quicker than you thought it would be?
Not really. It seemed, it may be a touch fast, but I think that's probably because for the beta. My only gripe with it right now is it's kind of a hodgepodge of all the ranks thrown in at one shot, and I realize they probably don't have a ranking filter like Halo does, and I know we'll get into Halo later, but that's my only kind of minor gripe at this point with the game.
Yeah, I think it's messed up the system that you get awarded points even if if you finish last. It's just open to thing. But yeah, Fox, you've got something to say?
Yes, I found the game to be really fast-paced, which is part of the reason why I like it. Like, I've never played Counter-Strike, but from what I've seen of that game, it's a lot like it. And going back to Halo again, It's a very fast-paced game. Things are always happening, and that's probably the reason why I like this game so much. And I have never played a Call of Duty game.
Yeah, I've never played a Call of Duty game either. I just got it set in my head for some reason that it was going to be a bit of a steady ride, but God, was I surprised when our face got in. It was just, you'd not got time to absolutely stand still for a second, and it shocked me. It took me quite a few hours to get into it, but it's still enjoyable, yeah.
And of course, what I've been playing this week, well, of course, the Call of Duty 4 beta, and as my line goes, pay no attention to the moving bush. Yes, I'm a sniper.
Now I understand that reference, because I did hear that once or twice last night in the Call of Duty game last night with the AJers.
If you don't know, when you pick a sniper class, you are dressed in a proper ghillie suit, and you do look like a moving bush. So, hence, pay no attention to the moving bush. And a blast from the past for all you PS2 owners, I've also been playing Zone of the Enders, and I have to say that game has held up incredibly well, and it's a lot of fun. Alright, so that's what we've been playing this week, and let's go into our next feature, which of course is the UK Top 10. And let's just say, this is a surprise coming in at number 1. Alright, number 10, Boogie. Any comments?
Boogie. Yeah, Boogie. Let's get on down with the Nintendo Wii. My young girl has been crazy for this. To be honest, I have not even seen the game run. I couldn't tell you a thing about it, but it's good to see a bit of a different title coming into the top 10, moving some of the rubbish out, as we finally see, but quite entertaining as well.
Okay, number 9, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix.
Said again, 3 weeks on the trot now. The movie tie-in of all movie tie-ins, still hanging in, hopefully gone next week, but usual Harry Potter fare. Decent enough game, I suppose, but hanging on its movie licence.
Okay then, at number 8, I'll get you. It's Worms 2, Open Warfare. Well, Open Warfare 2.
Got to say here, I have actually never played more than 5 minutes of any Worms game ever, which is surprising considering how old it is, but holding up well, and for the 5 minutes I had on Xbox Live, it was quite enjoyable. I could see a lot of people getting quite some good fun out on it. So yeah, again, nice to see a different title in the top 10.
Okay, at number 7, Transformers the Game.
Again, movie. I enjoyed the movie a lot. I think I've seen it about 5 times, but again, the game was disappointing if we all heard everything about it. Just a basic, the best thing about it was the actual transforming of the Transformers, and the rest of the game was absolutely tripe, apparently. So yeah, that should be moving down.
Autobots, roll out. And at number 6, what a surprise, The Sims 2, Bon Voyage, expansion pack, I'm guessing.
I was going to say I didn't even know about this game at all, didn't know it was out, so yeah, I think you might well be right. It's yet another of the expansion packs rollouts. Yeah, Mongo?
Yeah, I was just going to say, what system is that? Is that I know Sims is a PC-based game, but I didn't know there was a console version of it out.
Bon Voyage, I mean, the chart that we do is multi-format, so it's probably...
Is it on the PC though? Because I've heard Sims 2 is coming out to other formats, isn't it?
They normally do a port to the consoles.
I know for a fact there's a Sims 2 due out on the DS.
Okay, because I said, the last I heard, this was primarily a PC-based game, and if it's on a console, then that's news to me.
Yeah, I've only heard it's on the DS, but yeah, Fox.
Oh yeah, this game, The Sims 2 is out on PS2. I know for a fact.
Right.
It is basically just a port, and I also have the first version on my DS, so they've been up for quite a while.
Oh,
okay, I've just looked it up, and to confirm that The Sims 2 Bon Voyage is an expansion pack for the PC.
Surprise, surprise.
Which EA constantly do with The Sims, and probably will be doing with the Uber game that will be coming out soon, Spore. Alright, moving on. Number 5, Stuntman Ignition.
Surprising me, this is hanging in here. I thought this would be gone in 1 week, because, as we said last week, it was the demo at least I thought was woeful.
Yeah, I wanted to second that. I played the demo. I thought the physics in the game were terrible. The driving was also terrible. I couldn't control the car.
Yeah. No. I was hitting the lava every 5 seconds, and it just kept resetting you back to the beginning. Have another go, back to the beginning. Have another go. I mean, not entertaining at all.
Very frustrating.
Yeah, and having played the first one, I felt the first one was actually better than this one.
Now, Fox, back me up. The first one was on the PS2, wasn't it? It was Stuntman on the PS2.
Yes.
Yeah. See, told you it was a sequel.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Number 4, and here's a big shock, and I have played a little of this game. Two Worlds.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. As everybody probably knows by now, we should call it Two Worlds, the slideshow, because the frame rate basically runs like a slideshow, and it is so disappointing because I was so close to buying this. I thought the idea was great. It could have been a different genre on the 360. It looked good, the screenshots look good, but what have they done? Why, oh why, can they bring games out like this? You know I moan about it. They're making people pay money for substandard and pathetic quality items. This should have been pulled, taken off the market, because what are they looking at when they're playing it, when they're testing it? They cannot be, they're seeing a frame rate 20 frames per second. What are they saying? Oh, it's okay, we'll get it out. Wrong, all wrong.
Yes, I had tried this game last weekend, and for me, I've never even tried Oblivion, and I was told that this is what it was like. And I don't know, when I first popped it in, I was playing with a friend, and the first thing I pointed out as soon as the game started was the buggy frame rate. And it almost made me not want to play the game at all.
Yeah, it's such a shame, because same as I say, the idea of the game sounds great and brilliant, but I mean, what do you think, kid? You said you've played it as well.
Yeah, just check out the after show, after the main show, where I talk to my friend who actually has this, to check out what we think on it, and there may be some bleeps in it.
That good.
Yes. But the one thing I do want to say about Two Worlds, the UK version, now, as you know, we had a little bit moan about this with Bioshock and the English special edition just basically being in the good old tin case. We got shafted. But the Two Worlds special edition in the UK, I have to say, alright, the game's not good, it's terrible, but the special edition is good because you got a tabletop Two Worlds book, basically D&D. You got a bonus DVD with the soundtrack on, and behind the scenes footage, and some other stuff that I can't remember, but for a special edition, it was actually what you would call a proper special edition, which was as far as I know, was pretty much a first for a 360, special edition in the UK.
But no good or not, it's absolutely no good though if it don't work, does it? If the game's absolutely dire.
Yeah, exactly.
It's poor show.
Great special edition, shame about the game. Okay, let's move on. Alright guys, are you sitting down? Because this may blow your socks off. Number 4, Bioshock.
3.
Sorry, 3, Bioshock.
Yeah, Bioshock at 3. I actually think this will go back up the charts. I will stand here and just have a little wager with everybody that the next few charts, I will think Bioshock will go back up again. I don't know why, I just do. Because the 2 and 1, which will come later, I know 1 will be out the charts faster than it's got there. But Bioshock, yeah, as we all know, superb game. Can't wait to get it back and play the hard level. But yeah, superb.
Yeah, I've already gone through and completed this game, both good, bad endings, and all the gamer score on it, and it's an amazing game. I kind of put this in the same class as Oblivion. Just the graphics on this thing are just incredible. I'm kind of curious to see what kind of download content they're going to generate for this thing, other than maybe new plasmids or new tonics. But it'd be interesting if they could open Rapture up like they did with Oblivion, but like with a Shivering Isles expansion or a Knights of the Nine expansion, because it looks like you have plenty of room to explore in that city.
Well, believe it or not, the rumour abound about Bioshock is they are going to get a multiplayer.
That'll be interesting.
Now, it would. I'd be interested if it does go, but it is a strong rumour that they are working actually on a multiplayer add-on pack. Would be very good. Could see some good play on there with the plasmids and such, but I'd like to see that. It'd be a good thing.
Okay, number 2. Tiger Woods PGA Tour 08. Go ahead, Toz.
No, do I have to? As you know my thoughts on this, it's probably the worst release ever made. Does not work, as I've said before. Servers, I still don't know if they're up or down. I don't care to even try. And we all know about the downloadable content where they are making you pay for their mistake on top of you paying for their game. The game's unfinishable. It contains a bug regarding the play, and basically they want you to pay 200 points to get your golfer at max. All wrong. Should be fixed.
Yeah, isn't EA known for putting out their charging for their cheat codes essentially, especially on the console versions? So with this, I'll be honest, I haven't bought Tiger Woods, and I don't intend to. It's just not my cup of tea, if you can pardon the pun. But it just seems like EA has a bad reputation, and it's only getting worse with them charging for extra content that normally in the past has been free. Cheat codes, strategy guides, etc., etc. I think this is part of their new business model, which is basically wring every cent they can out of the community and out of the market. And up until this point, people are paying for it because I guess they're putting out the shoddy products to play the games.
Yeah, this started back with Need for Speed Carbon, where they decided to, for a price, I think it was 200 points, I might be wrong, you could buy the high-end Tier 3 cars right at the start of the game. And they said, oh, it's for people who don't have time to play the game. Well, surely if people like that don't have time to play the game all the way through to get the Tier 3 cars, what the heck they're playing the game for in the first place?
Yeah, correct. But what makes this downloadable content absolutely worse than anything they've ever done before is everybody knows they bought it out because you cannot max your golfer because the game's broke. The bug in the Tiger Challenge mode crashes the game halfway through on the 360, therefore rendering your golfer unable to get to 110%, which is the maximum it can get. Well, they just release for 200 points so you can get it. It's all wrong. It should have been free, and that's besides me thinking the game should have been pulled anyway and re-released later, because to find a bug, and I have heard that EA have said it's not fixable either. So basically you've paid full price for a game that they're hyping still. Anywhere you look, there's adverts on the TV still running here in the UK. I'm dumbfounded that they can get away with it. It's completely wrong. If this was in any other business, something would be done about it. It's wrong.
I smell lawsuit in the air. But anyway, let's move on to the game that's parachuted into number one. Yes, bad pun, I know. Medal of Honor Airborne number one.
I like this. I know that you didn't when we played the demo. I think we played it at the same time. I actually thought this was okay. Again, we know it's World War II and people are getting very sick of it, but I like the little bit of a slant where you get to jump, you get to choose where you're flying on your parachute. I enjoyed it. I thought it was okay, bit different. I'm all for getting it. And as we obviously know that a lot of people didn't think this would sell, I actually think it will do okay. And obviously being number one in the UK charts, it is selling. So it'll be quite interesting to see how it holds up in the top 10. But yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I didn't think this game would sell at all, but it's a high rental, I find, from my job. But personally, when I tried the demo, I thought the reticle on the game was terrible. It was a little bit too big, and normally whenever you move, they get bigger, which just made it even worse. And I also found that it was hard to distinguish between the good guys and the bad guys.
Not only to that, one of the things that drove me crazy about that game was you could empty a whole SMG clip into somebody and they'd still be alive, unlike in, say, Call of Duty 4.
Well, speak for yourself. I can do that. I can do that in Call of Duty and they still shoot me dead.
You can't see it, but I'm holding up my little sign that says beta.
True. Go on, I'll give you that, but I still think it'll be the same.
Okay then, guys, that's the UK top 10 for this week. Alright, into the news then. And my first news story, I can't believe I put this in. I'm going to talk about that bleeding game. Guitar Hero 2 sells more than 65,000 downloads.
Yeah, I knew you'd come round in the end, but 650,000 downloads, wasn't it? Was the amount,
sorry.
Yeah.
Huge amount.
I mean, I love the game, as you know. I'm a massive fan of it, always have been. But I'm astounded by this. Truly, I'm blown away because of all the moaning, me included, that everybody's done about the price, the points for these download packs, and yet it's clear to see, we know now why Activision are sitting back saying, we ain't putting the price down, and we can see now why. Because there are still 650,000 people out there that are willing to pay for it, and they're not going to put it down. So all you people out there that have moaned and groaned and gone on, sadly, you've got your money out your wallets and they've just got you where you want it. They are not going to put the price down now, and this figure totally blown me away. But I've just got a little side story on Guitar Hero that I've found out this week as well that's quite weird as well. Believe it or not, Guitar Hero 3 is now coming to the PC and Mac. A company called Aspire apparently are going to bring it to the PC and Mac. Whether it sells, I don't know. But also I've heard, which I just cannot fathom this one out, believe it or not, it's actually coming on the DS as well. They're going to bring a DS version out. Now, how that is going to work, I have no clue. But as regards the downloads, I mean, you know, it's just unbelievable. I mean, what do you guys think about the downloads of the Guitar Hero 2 packs?
Yeah, me seeing these numbers, I had the game and I checked the leaderboards often. 650,000, that's at or well over half of the people that own this game on 360 are downloading these packs. And even after you said all these people are moaning and groaning, me included, I actually bought one of the packs because I had to have Bark at the Moon.
Guess what? I said it on our third show or fourth show. I moaned like 1-0, but guess what? As everybody knows, I too downloaded one of the packs, but it was a present for my daughter. But it's things like that, exactly what we're saying. You know, people moan and groan, but they still buy it. And guys out there, if you're going to moan, you can't buy it, because if you buy it, they'll just keep doing it.
Yeah, I was gonna say with this. I mean, I bought Guitar Hero when it was first day it was available for the 360, and I enjoy it. But you know, and this was, you know, I had the impression that, you know, they were gonna have like one or two songs kind of the along the iTunes model where, you know, you pay like 100 points and you download another song. But I really the song selection, you can kind of go, yeah, maybe not. But it's just one of those things I don't understand. And then now that Guitar Hero 3, I mean, I have no interest in buying Guitar Hero 3 because, I'll be honest, I haven't completed Guitar Hero 2. And it doesn't make any sense for me to go out and spend another, you know, I don't know, $100 American or more for this game that's basically what Guitar Hero 2 should have been. And just as a side note, as for the download content, I don't think so much of the songs that are available is the fault for that is directly on Activision. Bear in mind, you still have the artists who want, their royalty payments for the use of their songs. So you throw that legal mess into the mix, and it just kind of bollocks the whole damn thing up. So you could have the greatest song in the world, and the artist, you know, is demanding an exorbitant royalty fee, and it just gets to the point where, like, you know, screw it, we don't want to bother with you anymore. Done.
Yeah, what annoys me about it more than anything, I mean, even us, the public, can clearly see they're handling the whole download packs wrong. Like you've just said, why don't they just bring single tracks after single tracks available at, say, $1 or whatever? And people have then got the choice whether they want to buy one track by a specific artist. As we know, satisfying everybody's musical taste is just an impossible task. It's never going to happen. It's impossible. But the way they do it, it just screams greed. They pack them into a pack of 3 at a ridiculous price. You can't split them. Like Fox said, he wanted Bark at the Moon. I bet he didn't want the other 2 tracks. And we've all said it before. It could be done so much better. And you've just said about Guitar Hero 3, the price released last week in America is going to be $109. I think that is a very silly price to be banding about. As we all know, Rock Band's on the horizon, and I think $109 is very silly. And I hope anyway that people finally stand back and say, no, you're not screwing me for any more money.
Yeah, once I seen the $109 price tag, that just told me that I just need to use the guitar from Guitar Hero 2 for Guitar Hero 3 and just move on to Rock Band.
Yeah, same here. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'd promised my little girl for Christmas Guitar Hero 3 because Rock Band's not coming out here, as we know. Another moan. Until next year. But yeah, I promised her the guitar and pack, but me seeing the $109, no way. It's just the game, I'm afraid.
Okay, next news story. Now, this one is definitely going to be interesting to our cranky gamers this week. A new first-person shooter is coming out for the PC. Now, I got reminded of this by James from the Weeds podcast, so cheers, James, for giving me a kick up the backside, because I did want to talk about this. It's called Quarry. Now, the interesting thing about this is you won't have to pay to play it online, but you will have to pay to play it, because you'll have to buy your ammunition from the games company. Not only that, you can win and lose money on this game. This is not game money, this is real money. You can, basically, if you kill someone, you will gain money off of them. If they kill you, you know, they're going to gain money off you. You'll also win prize money for picking up certain items and completing certain challenges on the maps. So, guys, how do you feel about this turn for the first-person shooter on the PC, where, well, real money's up for grabs? Is this a good thing or a bad thing?
I applaud him in one way for a weird, great, mad idea, and it is mad, crazy idea. And I'm actually going to sign up for the beta, only on the fact that I'm hoping that they will test it with, obviously, a free money kind of test. Nobody's going to pay to lose real money in a beta. But I will go and sign up for this and try it, because I do like the idea. But me personally, I think it could head to very dangerous ground and could feed all the anti-game mongers out there just to say it's another bad kind of game for my children to be paying for bullets, losing real money. I think the idea is great. Could work, could fail big time, but I'm going to leave judgment to it at the minute. But I will try the beta if I can possibly get in. But yeah, anybody else?
Yeah, just you're right. I applaud them for having a unique idea and approaching it, but I have a bad feeling that this is almost kind of like online gambling. And in the real world, I work in the game industry here in Nevada, and my first issue would be security. How can you prevent someone from cheating on this? You know, hacking the servers where they have all the financial information. The other issue I would have is, this is, you know, in other first-person shooters, you have new people, and I'll put myself just slightly above that category, playing against more experienced people, which I'll put Fox into as our rising MLG star. You know, I mean, you get into a situation like that where you're getting killed, you know, 30 seconds after starting the game up, and you lose whatever you put into it. So right there's a very large disincentive for any new players, because you have all the experienced players in there, and they're just wiping the floor with you. So that in itself is a questionable prospect to begin with.
Yeah, I believe this is a very, very bad idea. Even for a person like me who would just earn tons of money. I mean, put this in the Halo 2 or Call of Duty 4, and with my play, I will make over, I don't know, a lot of money off this game. It would it would make the game almost unplayable for people with that lack in skill. And it wouldn't be a fun source at all. It would just be playing to earn money. And games are meant to be played for fun,
Agreed.
Firstly. And then competitively, secondly.
I mean, I was going to ask, Kid, I think I've seen this story when you pointed me towards it. Didn't they actually, doesn't it say in the writing about it, that they have actually got a game balancing system out there that is going to actually level the playing field?
Yeah, they do say that there is a system of balance and checks to make sure that the right skill set is playing with the right skill set. But we've heard that before from many games. They're also saying that they're using high end software to make sure that they don't get hacked and stuff as well. But again, we've heard this from other companies, and there's been news story after news story of big companies getting hacked, like Monster and stuff like that.
Just as a question then, before Fox comes back in, Does it actually say the exact kind of gameplay that it is going to entail? What they say, pay for your bullets. Does it say anywhere?
It's a first-person shooter. It'll be death matches, and I should imagine there's objective. I think it did mention the fact that there is objective-based matches. You know, capture the flag. I know there's like an oddball type mode as well for those of you that play Halo, which is basically it's called the pill. You get the pill, you run around with it. You can't shoot your weapon, which is basically like oddball from Halo 2.
Yeah. But does it say anywhere on the game yet what the exact game physics are? As like you say you pay £50 for 10,000 bullets. For every bullet that hits your opponent, you get, say, 10 pence back. Or for every kill of an opponent, you get £1 back.
According to what I've heard, that is worked out between the players. So it could be $1 a death.
So it is a gambling system.
It is
like
a gamble.
Mongo says.
This is important. Now, this is another thing I'm going to point out. America now has very, very strict online gambling laws. So whether Quarry will appear in the United States, I don't know. But it is definite that it will be appearing in the UK. And as a lot of our guests have said, I do not like this idea at all. Because you combine the fact that people out there with gaming addictions, then you can throw a gambling addict in their addiction as well. It's a very, very dangerous ground to be on.
What company's making it? Have you got that to hand?
It's by a company called Quarry as well.
Yeah, just getting back to the gaming or the gambling aspect, I can guarantee you that it will, if there is any slight hint of any kind of online gambling with this, it will not come to the States. As I said, I live in Nevada and I work in the gaming industry, and we were trying to do a wireless, or one company was trying to do a wireless bingo setup, and this is in the regular casinos, and Nevada Gaming Control shot it down. They would not allow it, so I cannot see a game coming in this way. Matter of fact, isn't there several stories about Second Life and their online gambling or anything like that, where the American government have basically come in and shut it down, for at least on this side of the pond?
Yeah, that.
Yeah, I was just about to say, didn't George Bush recently in the past 12-18 months get a law rushed through pretty quick through Congress?
Yes, he did.
To severely stop some form of online gambling.
This is how severe it was. A head of one of the online gambling, offshore online gambling company, was travelling through the United States and was arrested for breaking this law. So this is quite a serious law. But it is a stake that is set up by the players. So like I said, it could be, and it doesn't mention, I haven't seen, I'm going to try and get in contact with this company to see about this. It doesn't mention what the minimum stake is. So, your minimum stake could be 5 cents, or it could be $1, or it could be $10. This is really open to be, I don't want to say open to abuse, but this could go very badly for some people. Very badly.
I think it definitely needs looking into further. I think it's going to be a bigger story. I really do think that it's a bigger story.
Now I'd like to point out, the first place I actually heard about this game was not through Gaming Press or anything. This was on the BBC. This tells you how serious people are taking this. Yes, the idea and concept is interesting, but real money's up for grabs, and that takes it to a whole different level and a whole new ball game, and it could be very bad. Anybody else got any closing statements that they want to make on this Quarry then?
Yeah, actually, this does remind me of an actual game. It was a game called Bet on Soldier with this basic premise, but it wasn't a where you actually staked real money. It was kind of set up to where war had become the latest entertainment, and soldiers fought for cash, and it was like small 3 or 4 man teams going at each other. And this was a PC game that came out, I think, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. So this premise itself has been done, but to the point where it's actually using real money. To quote one famous person, I got a really bad feeling about this.
Yeah, I think it's gonna get a lot bigger story.
All right, Toz, what have you brought us this week then for your news?
Yep, I've just got a few small things. We'll start off sadly again with the PS3. I've heard news this week that MPD sales are predicting for end of this month that the PS3 sales will actually see its second to last, only just in front of the GBA in sales. Now, along them rumours that's just come out following this, they've got to start doing something. Believe it or not, we're on the price rumour drop again, and the new rumour is they're going to scrap the 60 gig version completely, as they've promised before. They're now going to offer a 40 gig version and put the price down to $399, and they're going to put in Spider-Man 3 Blu-ray. They're also saying that if there's any 60 gigs left and anybody wants the PS2 compatibility still in, get it, because as we all know now, they're scrapping it worldwide. We know that it got scrapped as, in the Europe on our release, which was an appalling thing that they did. But yeah, basically PS3 is in big trouble. It still is. To only just beat the GBA in sales is, well.
Yeah, I absolutely cannot see how they are going to make a 40 gig system for $399. They made the 80 gig for the sole reason because they're going to have downloadable games instead of having them on discs. And 40 gigs was going to run out pretty quick with these high-level games that are coming out.
Yeah, that's a good point. That was brought up in the story that I read as well about it, that people were saying that Sony are really pushing this, this online download content or full games as such, as we know that Warhawk is out in both disc version and downloadable version. So it just baffles belief that Sony are digging a deeper hole each week. But yeah.
Yeah, I think Sony tried to use the PS3 as kind of a backdoor method to kind of settle the console and the format wars by trying to put a Blu-ray player in everyone's house. And I think that strategy has utterly and completely failed. I think this is gonna really take Sony down several notches.
Yeah, I mean, apparently as well on the back end of this story, moving on with the Spider-Man 3 Blu-ray, we all know that the massive problem with all this is the Blu-ray against the HD. And this week again, I think Warner Brothers have come out and actually changed. They've changed their feeling. They was actually going with Blu-ray, and apparently, if I'm not mistaken, that they've actually shifted. They've gone now with HD. They're moving completely. So yet another nail in Sony's coffin. But yeah, I mean, if nobody else has got anything to say about that, it's sad to see that.
Yeah, well, I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. The way this format war is going to finish, and I believe this is how you'll see it, you're going to see HD DVD win out for movies and television shows, and you'll see Blu-ray being a PC format for professionals like me who need to back up lots of data. Yes, Sony went on, like Mongo said, a backdoor route to try and get in Blu-ray DVDs into everybody's home because it worked with the PS2. The PS2 was, at the time, a cheap DVD player, and that's what made it. But this time round, it's not worked. And this whole 40 gig hard drive thing just smacks of a desperation move. And my friends and I were huge Final Fantasy fans, and we reckon if it gets any more desperate for Sony and the PS3, that we will be seeing that remake of Final Fantasy VII very, very soon.
Just on the finish of this story as well, I know that not many people may know this, which is actually, unbelievable, that if people didn't know that it's actually very, very easy to put a normal standard hard drive into a PS3. And with them saying this, we're offering 40 gigs. It's just yet another big nail in the coffin. But yeah, moving on to my other stories, a couple of small ones. Project Gotham Racing 4 is going gold this week, and they've also bought out the website. The new website for the fans is, if you head towards www.pgrnations.com, that is apparently their new website for the very good looking PGR4. And on the similar lines, similar genre, Sega are going mad with their Sega Rally push. Basically, the news on this story is that Eurogamer TV, that comes out of the UK and spreads to far around Europe, including Germany, France, Italy, and I think they've just gone to Spain this week. Believe it or not, that they have bought every bit of ad space on every page in every country that they go to plug the up and coming Sega Rally. It's released apparently on the 28th of September, but for them to buy every single ad space on every site is just mind-blowing. It must have cost them a fortune, but I must say I'm actually looking forward to getting Sega Rally. Definitely. Just one final tiny little story that might be of interest to do with the Wii. The Wii Zapper, apparently, a little bit of a rumour, is going to come tied with a Zelda bow training game. Basically, a little Zelda bow and arrow game is going to be in the pack with the new Wii Zapper, and apparently is going to come out at $19.99. Now, basically, whether that is going to sell, I don't know. I think they've just gone along the lines of what they did with Wii Play. Wii Play was basically a very substandard game where, you know, you bought it for your extra controller. But yeah, the Wii Zapper is apparently going to involve a little Zelda bow training game. So, anyway, that's all my little news this week, and it's back to you, kid.
Alright, now we're going to hit the topic. And this week it's a capital T in both of them, the topic, because it is the juggernaut that is Halo. That is all of. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, Halo. The whole. To your happy places, everybody. Chill.
Actually, more like go to your corners.
Breathe. Right, Halo, the huge juggernaut that is Halo. We know it from the Xbox and the Halo, Halo 2, and now, of course, we're fast approaching the release date of Halo 3. And if you've been paying attention, the whole marketing machine has gone absolutely crazy. We have a 7-foot-tall waxwork statue of Master Chief in Las Vegas. Mongo, have you seen that yet?
No, not yet, but I am planning to make a trip down there sometime to actually see that. I actually heard the Major Nelson interview with, I guess, the head of something or other down there at Madame Tussauds, and it was actually a rather interesting interview in regards to that. I think it was this week's podcast from Major Nelson, and it was kind of neat. I mean, they're saying the statue's like 7'2". They made Master Chief basically superhuman in pretty much all respects, and supposedly you're able to test drive Halo 3 down there. They've really made an interactive display out of the whole thing.
Tell you what, Mongo, if you make it down there, take us a picture and send it to us, and we'll stick it up on the website. We can have Mongo and Master Chief.
Trust me, I will be burning SIM cards like you wouldn't believe down there for that.
I listened to that story as well. It was a good story. I think it was with the head of Madame Tussauds in London that was doing the interview. It was a good interview, and apparently it's gone crazy, I think, for it to be, because Madame Tussauds, over there in the US, I don't know if you know how really serious it is taken over here, that basically to get into Madame Tussauds you've got to be ultra famous to get into there. They will not put any rubbish in. I know there is some rubbish in there, but I was astounded when I found out Master Chief was going in. It just put the top on the bottle for me that Halo has gone absolutely crazy.
I just want to jump in. Our fellow friends over at the Weeds podcast, I think, also mentioned this, and they were saying, why not Sonic and why not Mario? Well, for the simple reason, and sorry guys, Mario and Sonic are too cartoony to appear in something like Madame Tussauds, whereas Master Chief is based very much in reality. As much as you can say the Halo universe is based in reality, but Master Chief is very much a real kind of looking character. He's human, he's physical. Yeah, you could say that with Mario, but if you look at all the Mario artwork and stuff, he's very comic book style. That's why I think they've gone with Master Chief.
I still think that I don't think Master Chief does belong in Madame Tussauds. Probably being a very old-fashioned traditionalist.
Grumpy git.
Yeah, probably very grumpy. But as you know, kid, in England, Madame Tussauds is held very highly and has been for well over 100 years. I mean, okay, I'm all for putting new things, but I think that is just going a little bit overboard, putting Master Chief in there.
Well, I was going to say, just in regards to Mario and Sonic, if judging by today's political climate, you put Mario in there, and there are some people who are going to see that as a negative Italian stereotype. I mean, I'm Italian, and I don't see it that way, but skins have gotten a lot thinner over the last, I guess, 10 or 15 years, to where things like that could be seen in a rather derogatory fashion. Master Chief could be anything you want it to be. Under that mask, he could be African American, he could be Norwegian, he could be anything you want it to be. And I
was going to say he'll probably turn into be a woman at the end.
Well, you never know. He could be a transgender, but we'll never know, because we're never going to find out what's under the mask.
Probably not, but
unless they do that much rumoured Halo movie.
Yeah, it's a good point, though, that about Mario and Sonic. I mean, like I've just said, I don't think any of them belong at Madame Tussauds, but call me old-fashioned and a grumpy old fart, but...
You're a grumpy old fart. Hey, you said call you that.
Anyway, as I was going to say, if they're going to have Master Chief as a waxwork, why not Solid Snake? Because he sort of fits into that realm.
Yeah,
you're right.
He probably does, but I think like the subject we've started, it's Halo.
Exactly.
And I think that's the bottom line. It's Halo, and that's why.
Let's just face it, it's not just a 7'2" waxwork, which from the pictures does look very impressive. And like I said, if Mongo gets to see it, he's got to send us some pictures to put up on the site.
Will do.
You've got Game Fuel by Mountain Dew. You've got controllers and consoles and gum and condoms and stuff like that. Well, probably not the condoms, but...
Do you think... I'll be very interested. Do you think the display will get abused in any way? Do you think it might turn a little bit over manic that they didn't think it would be? Because I've got a feeling that Madame Tussauds may very well underestimate this a lot. They
doubt
might think
it,
it's just...
because it is going to be in Las Vegas it probably will be. Can you say living in Las Vegas, because it's not live, but will be homed in Las Vegas, but it is doing a world tour. I think Madame Tussauds has been very clever with this. They've seen how big Halo is, they've seen how much money it's going to rake in, and they thought, well, if we do a waxwork and put it on tour, it's going to bring people to our museums. It's going to draw people.
I've got a feeling that I'm hoping they've got a damn lot of copies, because I've got a feeling it's going to get some hammer. Because again, if people don't know, Madame Tussauds dummies here in England, or probably all around the world, get a lot of hammer. Apparently they've got something like 10, 15, 20 copies of each popular one, and they do chain some off. You're not allowed to go anywhere near them, but on the other hand, they do let some completely open where you can touch, take pictures, and basically take some silly.
I want to get
pictures.
near the Kylie Minogue one.
Exactly, they all go and touch. The famous thing in here, everybody goes to Kylie Minogue's waxwork because it's the one in the hot pants, and they sit there and touch her ass basically. And she didn't she put them real hot pants and give them to put on it?
They did.
Yeah, and I think they did get pinched, I think, originally, but they did get them back. I mean, things like that. I mean, are people going to abuse this Master Chief, or are they going to be fighting over it? And especially, like Mongo says, if they're planning on putting the game playable there, I think that much will depend on when they put the game playable there. If they put it playable after it's released, then I don't see a problem. If they put it around the release, or God forbid, before the release, you could see a bit of a mess.
I don't know, how many people are going to go to Las Vegas to play Halo 3 when there's blackjack and poker and all that stuff going on?
Believe you me, there'll be a hell of a lot want to play it.
Alright, let's kind of move away from the waxwork, because this isn't just about the waxwork. This is about the whole juggernaut that is Halo, guys. Because how are you feeling about all this merchandise that they are chucking out for the release of Halo 3?
I think a little bit is over the top. The Game Fuel, I mean, I'm drinking one right now, and that's actually kind of tasty. But some of it, I think, is kind of overblown. The replica scaled weapons, some of the I can see the controllers, I can see the reskinned Xbox as just kind of special editions, but some of the other stuff that's coming out, I mean, the Halo HeroClix figures, things like that, some of it is bordering on the edge of absurd. But as Bungie has been publicly about this is the end of the franchise. There is going to be no more Master Chief. There are going to be no more Halo first-person shooters after this game. This is the end. This is the end of this part of the franchise. I know Halo Wars is in development, but
Halo Wars
Bungie has gone on record. Right, but it's set in the universe, but this is going to be the last Halo. End of story, full stop, end of discussion.
Do you seriously think it is, though? I don't. I don't for 1 minute.
The way Bungie has been shepherding this franchise, and the way my experience with Bungie has been basically the Halo franchise. I get the feeling that they've set their feet in stone and saying this is it. I don't care how much money you're going to throw at us. Master Chief is done after this. Whether he lives, dies, or rides off into the sunset after this one, I really think that they're serious about dropping the Master Chief off after this game.
But do you, on the subject you've just hit, money, have you ever yet to see a games company turn down vast amounts of money for the sake of bringing yet another sequel out? And let's be honest, there is no bigger than Halo cash cow, and I seriously have my doubts this is the last one. I just don't see it.
Granted, but you also have to deal with the personality of Bungie, and like I said, from what I've seen of Bungie, they're kind of like in the way like a Blizzard. They're not going to release a game until it's ready, and I think when they pitched Halo, I think when they actually made the shift from way back when from a real-time strategy game to a first-person shooter, they developed this story, and I'm sorry, some of the artists and some of the programs, I'm sure they're ready to move on to something new. I mean, I'm not saying that the Halo universe itself is going to die off. I'm just saying that the character of Master Chief is probably going to be gone. Next, you never know. We could be playing in 2 years' time a game based on, say, one of the minor characters. We could have a Covenant version of Master Chief game and play that. So I don't think the universe is going to die off after this game. I'm just saying that Master Chief, as the iconic character that he is going to ride off into the sunset one way or another.
What are you guys over there in the US? Because I actually do see this as more popular in the US than, say, over here in Europe. I know it's still big over here. What are you guys thinking on the rumour mills of how it's going to end?
Oh, I think we're going to get an ambiguous ending. We're not going to be sure whether he's lived or died, because that way it's always open for another one, and I think it's always going to be left like that. The other question is, where did Bungie go from here? But Mongo, talking to you last night, wasn't there something you wanted to say about which I think are quite good TV ads, wasn't they?
Yes. Right now, as far as I know, there's two TV spots. One called Believe, one called Museum.
I've seen Museum. I don't think I've seen Believe.
Yeah,
Believe.
I've seen one.
Believe is actually when they go through the diorama that's in the museum, and it's actually at one of the websites. I don't remember which it is, but it actually shows the what they call the Battle for New Mombasa, which the Master Chief, if you want to look at it one of two ways, either Master Chief allows him to it says in the on the website, he allows himself to be captured, but they don't go into what happens. They refer to this as a turning point. There's been a lot of static lately about the museum piece, which actually shows an actor portraying a veteran from this combat or from this battle, and they show him walking up to the diorama, and they asked him a couple questions, and they said, well, how did what kept together? Well, we knew the Master Chief was still in the fight, so it kept us going too. There's been a lot of static saying that this has been rather derogatory to veterans and the like. And for those who don't know, I am a veteran. I served in the United States Navy for 4 years. And I saw the video, and I saw absolutely nothing disrespectful about that ad at all. To be honest, it was shot in a very documentarian style. You see the actor playing the veteran, and you hear the narrator or interviewer, or however you want to put it, ask these a couple questions, and it was and if you looked at the reaction of the actors, you look at the whole setup and you view it in context, it was absolutely nothing different than someone being interviewed about a veteran from the Battle of Stalingrad, who lived through that. I saw absolutely nothing disrespectful about it whatsoever, and to be honest, it really kind of cheeses me off that they're saying that this was disrespectful to this illusionary veteran, while the real veterans that are actually, overseas in Iraq right now are getting slagged off left and right by the media because we're in Iraq, we're supposedly all these other different evil, mean, vile things, and that, like I said, it cheeses me off, and it just shows me where the perspective is for the majority of the people. And I mean, I'll get off my soapbox now, and I'll let you guys continue.
Well, yeah, I mean that the advert that you're on about, like I said, the only one I saw was the museum with the veteran. I thought that was a fantastic advert. I don't see anything wrong with it at all. It's kind of like the beginning and end of Saving Private Ryan when you see Ryan at the end as an old man. It's kind of like that. It is shot in a documentary style, and as you say, they're all up in arms about this, but whether you agree with the war or not, I don't really care about that. Guys are out there risking their lives every day, and they deserve respect for that. And they are treated piss poorly, not just in America, but here as well. And these guys should get respect. And I do not see why anyone should be up in arms over a TV ad. It's an advert, for damn's sake.
Again, guys, we're coming back to the subject last week. It's a game. Get real, get with it. It's a game. It's an advert for a game. It's a well-made advert for a game. And anybody for 1 second who will sit there and jump on the high horse and go mad. Seriously, just let's have you get in at life. It's a game advert. Get real.
Well, I think, and a part of what started this, I think, was seriously a case of sour grapes. I forget the name of the developer, and I know he's well known for working on Call of Duty and I think Medal of Honor or one of the World War II genre games. And I think he's having a case of sour grapes because he's seeing that Halo, the juggernaut that it is just going to completely swamp him. He may think he's built the best game ever created and is getting, pushed off to the side because of a game that he doesn't think is all that great, but has all this marketing and hype behind it. I mean, that's what I think. That's what started all this, and I think he's just kind of filling his druthers, so to speak.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I mean, let's bring Fox in. I mean, he's not said anything yet about this. I mean, let's go back to the main question. Why is Halo so big?
For me, Halo is big because of the competitive community. I feel that these games are made for more the hardcore type players, people who like to get better at first-person shooters, who like to go into a game and know that they have a very good shot at winning. And with the people like me who compete in these tournaments and make tons of money, this is why I feel Halo is very big. Bungie is producing a game that people are just taking off with it and making six-figure salaries playing a game 6 times a year. And for me, it's... I'm trying to get a piece of that.
Nice work if you can get it.
Yeah.
Seriously, I mean, is that the kind of money that is... I mean, if you don't mind talking about the money side, I mean, is that seriously the kind of money that you could, be a part of?
Oh, yeah. At the tournaments, you place... There's placements for the prize money. There's top 8. First place... usually at each tournament it gets about $20,000 split between 4 people. There are 6 tournaments throughout the year. Figure that out. Plus the national championships, which are held in Las Vegas every October or November. The grand prize is $100,000 split between 4 people.
That is stunning. I mean, I know that money gaming is not big. Probably anywhere else.
Yeah, no, it is. Asia is actually bigger than the United States.
Yeah, but I was going to say, over here, it's unheard of. If you spoke about playing games for that kind of cash, people would look at you gone out. I mean, how many team members are they in teams?
There are usually 4 team members that actually play. A new concept that just been introduced at the end of last year and the beginning of this year was the idea of a coach. And this person, I think, is very important. We had when we went to MLG. And this person is responsible for call-outs and making sure everybody knows when weapons spawn and where.
And just before Mongo wants to say something, have you guys actually won tournaments or placed very highly?
No, we went to Chicago and made 3rd round, which it's decent for a first-time tourney goer, but it's nowhere near some of these guys what they're playing.
And did you get paid for that?
No.
You didn't get anything. So, and do you get expenses?
No.
Or do you pay your own expenses?
For us, we had to pay our own expenses. Most of the teams that go they'll have a sponsor, which there's a lot of areas around the U.S. but they'll go to like a small LAN center or a game shop, and they'll say, "Hey, I have a team of guys that would like to go to a tournament and show what we've got. Will you pay us to go and represent your product and hopefully represent you in this tournament?"
Well, I was just going to ask Fox, just as a little side note, would Major League Gaming exist if it wasn't for Halo? So, I mean, is it kind of basically a chicken or egg question here?
Major League Gaming would not be what it is today if it weren't for Halo. It began 2 or 3 years ago with Halo 1, and that was its star game. Halo 2 was introduced. They moved into that. Just this year, Gears of War was introduced, along with Shadowrun and Rainbow Six Vegas. And Halo 2 still remains to be the #1 attracting game. Just from going to the tourneys, you can tell who the Halo players are. You can look around. There are, I swear, maybe 100 TVs just for Halo specifically. Maybe 25 for Gears. And I think the Shadowrun and Rainbow Six Vegas players share TVs like between days. Halo is just the most attracting game for MLG, and I think it will remain to be so.
I was going to say, just on the marketing side for Halo, do you think even if all Bungie said was, yeah, we're releasing a third episode, and that's it, and that's all they had to say, do you think that with Major League Gaming and the other thing, enough word of mouth in the terms of marketing would make the million plus copies that have been pre-ordered? Would you think that would be the case, or would you think that Bungie would have to still Bungie and Microsoft put out the amount of marketing dollars to market Halo 3?
I feel that people who play Halo 2 competitively are just going to move straight into Halo 3, and there are tons and tons of highly skilled players just waiting to get to these tournaments. I don't think any kind of marketing that you can do will attract more people. It's all about the type of gamer you are. You have to be a competitive type gamer.
Well, no, that's not the question I'm asking. I'm saying if Bungie and Microsoft didn't do any marketing other than saying Halo 3 is coming out, do you think the word of mouth from the competitive gamers on these games from Halo 2 and so forth would just drive the buzz itself? I mean, all Microsoft would have to do is sit back and let the gamers do the work. That's what I'm asking. Do you think that would happen?
No, not at all.
I mean, I'll just move it on slightly then, and as listeners may know, me and Kid have talked before. Me personally, I actually don't care for the game, and we'll move on to gameplay. I mean, that's after all what it is about. It's about gameplay. I mean, you are making a game for people to play. My point is, I actually see Halo as just a basic, simple, first-person space shooter that there are many, many out there. And I have still yet to fathom, as I've said before, and I should say again, how it can be this big. It is, to me, a simplistic first-person shooter, and asking Fox or Mongo or Kid, what do you guys, why is it so big? It's just a basic first-person game, and I've never been able to grasp that.
Can I jump in here? Because my story of Halo is when I first got my Xbox, I got it with 2 games. I got Project Gotham and Halo. Now, I played Halo for a bit, but I never finished the campaign, never finished the story mode. I got Halo 2 because I was listening to Podtacular a lot and thought this sounded great. Again, never finished the campaign, played a fair bit online, and that put me off. Story-wise, the story has never grabbed me. I don't know how Mongo and Fox feels. How do you feel about the story? Does that grab you? Is that one of the reasons you'll be picking up Halo 3, or...?
Absolutely not.
I'll let Fox chime in.
The story interests me not at all. As soon as I buy the game, I'm going to go straight to a tournament and win a free copy of it. And then I will come home and I will jump right into multiplayer. I might play the campaign with a few of the AJers just because that's what we do. But as far as the campaign goes, I have no interest in it at all.
So basically then you are saying, really, virtually backing up what we kind of say, where it's not a stunning game.
No.
You are buying it for your kind of gameplay that you enjoy. Do you think then that that is what Halo has become? It's become so, what we can call niche in a way, where there are only certain people that are looking forward to it.
I don't think so. I don't know, it's already pre-sold 100 or a million copies. Of that, maybe a third of those are competitive gamers. I think it's how big Halo is, and you remember back when the Xbox came out, Halo 1 was the game that saved Microsoft and the Xbox. I think that is one major reason why this game is so big. And also, the matchmaking system it's second to none. It is above all the rest, and nobody else has matched it to this day.
But on to that point then, do you seriously think, as I really do believe, and the beta really brought it home to me regarding Halo 3, do you think there is a massive gap between the casual and the hardcore? Because if that is the case, which I do believe so, there is a big gap. The matchmaking system has got to be absolutely perfect, because if you keep alienating the casual gamers as regarding to the hardcore gamers of Halo, surely that's creating a game that's quickly going to become not enjoyable to the vast people that's bought it.
I can actually speak to that, and when I've actually bought Halo, I like the story. There's a very rich backstory that isn't portrayed in the game, but as for the online aspect of it, yeah, Halo 2 put me off Xbox Live for a long time, and I didn't come back to actually doing multiplayer until I came across all the achievement junkies, which is actually what which brought me back.
Yeah, same here.
There is a large gap, and I don't know if it's just because you have people whose entire lives are dedicated to online gaming and practicing for online gaming. And, this is not a slam against you, Fox, because I know you probably make some good money out of this, but for those people, and this goes back to your thing, Toz, a couple weeks back about, being a father and, having a life, those people who have a job, who have something other than the online community or the competitive community, they just don't have the time to dedicate towards this game. And if you can get a good group of people, and this applies not just to Halo, but applies to any game, if you get enough people, it makes the live experience that much more enjoyable. And unfortunately, when you kind of go out there in the wild and on your own, you generally run into all the jackholes and dillweeds and every other expletive you can think of, because hey, you got it. All people know you is as a screen name and a voice, and you could say whatever pops into that little itty bitty mind of yours, and get away with it for the most part.
Yeah, very good point. I mean, to be quite honest, I'm coming up to a year now that I've had my 360, and it is the first time I've played online gaming. And to be quite truthful, I know now with 100% certainty, online gaming is basically for the people in your friends list. I do not entertain going on normal online games with strangers because it takes 5 minutes to find the dicks. We all know they're there, and they're just everywhere. But moving back to Halo, I've got a question for you both, especially you, Fox. Firstly, I have nothing against what you do for money. I mean, truth be told, I think everybody sat here would like to be in his shoes, where you can play games and make the kind of money that's being bandied about. I would swap my life for it within a second. But my question is to both of you guests: Halo 3. If you walked in a game store not knowing any hype or anything about Halo 3 and saw that running on a TV, and this guy behind the counter said, "Here's the latest game out on Friday," and saw it running, the basic first-person game, can you seriously tell me now that you would literally think, "Wow, I want that game now"?
Me personally, if I knew nothing of the Halo series, and walked into my local gaming store and saw that, I probably would say, no, I don't want it now. I might wait until A, either I have the money for it, or B, it came down in price. Now, that being said, once I had it, and if it had a decent story, and I'll compare this to BioShock. BioShock has a excellent backstory, and as far as I'm concerned, Halo has a good backstory. but it's the gameplay and all the other game dynamics that are involved with it that would actually suck me into that franchise. That's how I would approach it if I was coming to this completely oblivious to the juggernaut, the marketing juggernaut that Halo has behind it.
What I actually think what is going to be a really, really good test, a very good test, is looking at your shops for the part exchange deals, how many get chucked up and how quickly for, to part exchange the game. Because obviously there's millions being sold. How many people are going to get sick of it pretty quick? Because if the online part is not handled correctly, and in my opinion, if the online part is handled like the beta was handled, I don't think you will have what Fox has said, the hardcore. And that's it, because nobody will want to join that system how it was running the beta. What's your thought, Fox? Do you think it's a good enough standalone game without heart?
Me personally, if I were to walk into a GameStop or a Best Buy and I see Halo 3, I've seen the commercials, I've seen all the merchandise that's been put out, that should be key enough to push you into buying a game that everyone else is buying. I'm not saying individuality is no question here, but just you don't want to be that one guy that said, "Hey, did you buy Halo 3?" No, man, I didn't think it was good enough. And you just be that one person who didn't buy Halo 3.
That's I could say that about Kid and BioShock, but we'll move on. But yeah, I mean, obviously I will get it myself, but it'll be way down the line when, like I say, the part exchange deals start coming out. It just doesn't catch me. I can see the hype. I can see why it's got to be so big, but me personally, it's an average game to me.
And just to hit, I guess, a final point on the online thing, this is also something that was referenced, I guess, in the last Major Nelson podcast. They are, both Bungie and Microsoft are working on something they call True Skill. So they are working on basically a behind-the-scenes system that actually kind of levels it out, so you don't have like someone like you, Toz, who doesn't play very often, matched up against Fox on a fairly regular basis if you both play on a regular basis. Meaning, if you're both playing 100 games, where you both skill out at is going to be radically dissimilar, and you're both going to be put in different categories, so to speak, to where you'll be able to have an enjoyable experience on your side, Toz, and Fox will have a challenging experience on his side. And I know that's a fact that they're working on, because, I mean, as Major Nelson referred to them, they're the scary math guys.
Just before Fox comes in there, just as a little bit, I thought the true skill was already in all the games that was out there.
The true skill is actually meant to be in the matchmaking system itself, but as I've said to you, Toz, while playing many games of Rainbow Six on my own in single player, in deathmatch, I've never been dropped into a match where I could win. There's always been people better than me, so I don't know.
Yeah. But what you got to say, Fox? You wanted to say something?
Yeah. The competitive community, we love challenges, which is the reason why we do what we do. If the matchmaking system does not work and we get matched up with people who are lower skilled, don't have time to play these games like we do, that is just not any fun for us.
And it's not any fun for the other guy either.
No, it's just a nightmare. That's exactly. I mean, like we said, it was beta. I played the beta. I actually joined that game the first day, as everybody did. I actually won 3 out of 5 games I started, and I thought, oh my god, I found a game. I stopped playing, I went for food, I had a break, I came back approximately about 7-8 hours later. I actually entered the next 3 games and didn't kill one single person. And I found that the game had moved on so quickly, and I actually thought originally it was me. But then I went online to air some views, as always, but I could see everywhere the same story was emerging. I think even Natalie from AJ, even she mentioned it at the time. She was doing great at the beginning, and all of a sudden, very, very quickly, it was like, bang, you are so out of this game. And I found that very quickly, so much so that after 4 days playing, I never went back. And I hope to God the game doesn't have that.
Yeah, see, I played the beta also, and I for the length of time that was out, I didn't put very much time into it at all because I found, and I don't mean any disrespect to anybody in the AJ community or at all, I just found it to be really, really easy for me. It was not a fun game for me to play, and I just completely stopped playing a game that I'm going to spend hours on these next few months.
Yeah, and that's exactly what the point I've just brought up. Obviously, from our point of view, it was like us constantly being put into games, playing the likes of you, say, Fox. It's just not enjoyable for you or for us. And I hope to God that Microsoft and Bungie have got it sorted out, because it will be a hell of a downer if they haven't for a lot of people.
Finish this up. So, final thoughts on the Halo universe, then, what you think about it. So we'll start with Fox. What's your final thoughts on the Halo universe, then?
I feel it's basically meant for the hardcore crowd, not the casual gamer, and that's sad. The co-op is a good addition for the casual gamer, but multiplayer is probably not going to be a good place for casual gamers.
Okay, Mongo, what's your final thoughts on it?
I agree. The multiplayer is geared towards the hardcore gamers. The single player side, I think, is geared for the casual gamers with the co-op. I think the universe itself is going to be interesting to see what happens when Master Chief has stepped away from the table. Halo Wars looks kind of interesting to me, and I'll be honest, I'm kind of a RTS geek in the first place.
Not the only one, Mongo.
It's going to be.
You're not the only one.
But yeah, it's going to be interesting, and I seriously doubt we'll see a Halo 4. And if it does come out, that's something that I'm going to have to look at with a real skeptical eye, considering that, like I said before, Bungie's been on the table publicly saying that this is the end of Master Chief. Live, dead, or
ambiguous,
or draw. We're dead. I mean, that's it. So that's my point. My final thoughts.
All right then, Toz, what's your final thoughts on Halo?
We all know it's going to sell. It's already got pre-orders. My thoughts are exactly the same. It's an average game, just an average first person. I hope they do sort the online out, because, like I said, the first few hours, first day play on the multi, I did enjoy, and I thought it was great. But whether that's going to change or whether they are going to cater for all, it's only time will tell. As for the single player and co-op, I've never been a co-op person either in these games, and they all seem to be heading that way. But all in all, I think it's obviously going to do well, but I will like to see what are the part exchange rates going a few weeks, a month, 2 months down the line when Christmas comes, to see how many people just are hanging on to it for multiplayer or are trading it in for a Mass Effect or whatever's the next one due out. Be very interesting.
Okay, I'm just going to jump in here and say I pretty much agree. I think multiplayer is the domain of the serious hardcore. If they could get the matchmaking worked out to the point where you could drop into a match where it's people equal with your skill level, then I think that would help a lot. But the story and that, like I said, I've never finished Halo or Halo 2, so I'm not really taken with it. It's one I probably will pick up because the AJ guys will be playing it a lot, and I want to play with them, and that might make online more enjoyable. But really, it's not one I'm going to rush out and buy. I'm more now interested in getting Call of Duty 4. Just one final point on that, what you've just said, as regards the multiplayer. If Halo 3 could have, in my opinion, the very nicely done COD leveling part without the points for being last or dying a lot, I think that was it's a great way of leveling players and could help towards the matchmaking. The fact that every game you play in COD, you get a points. The good players get a lot of points. The bad players, although do get points, in my opinion, should get nothing. Because I have managed to. On that, but we can
the point is this: I'm a very average player, low to average player. I'll openly admit that, and yet I log on today on COD, and I'm level 16, which is the max level.
The beta.
That can't be right. For the beta. I mean, that can't be right. Me personally, I've played it as much as you guys have, basically. Should be, in realistic terms, if the matchmaking and the leveling system's correct, should be around level 2, maybe 3 if I'm lucky. Somebody like Fox should be 16, maxed out. I like the idea of the way that's done, and I think Halo could benefit from a similar system. I hope that COD does keep that, but just remove the points for finishing last, because that's the way you've got to keep the average player separated from the hardcore player. At the minute, COD's just lacking in that, and I just hope Halo 3 takes the same vein.
This could be a topic for another podcast, but I have to disagree with you on that, Toz. I think if you play the game, you should get some experience for playing the game. I mean, if you get to the point where you're playing it and you may be an average gamer, you may be above average gamer, you may be a below average gamer, I still think you should get some experience for the game that you did play. And you're right, Halo could probably benefit from something like this, but to absolutely say because you finished dead last that you get nothing, I don't agree with that statement.
Oh yeah, I don't mean get nothing, exactly nothing. But what I mean is basically comparing it to what I am at. For 4 days play, I'm the same level as Fox, which means I could get matched in a room playing with Fox. Now I'm a million miles away from that. What I'm saying is, the points they're giving out at the minute, I know it's beta, but we're seeing the system in its infancy. They must have some ideas of how it's going to work. I agree. I don't say give me nothing for finishing last. What I'm saying is it needs working out very correctly as where I now should be around level 2, maybe 3. Then in theory, I should never get matched with, say, maybe Kid, who's round about 15, 16, or Fox, who's 16. That's the kind of thing I mean. I don't mean get none. No, that's ridiculous. It shouldn't happen. But I like the way they've done it. I do, I like the way you get a lot of points for being good, which you deserve. But at the minute, they're giving me points. I'm doing myself down, I suppose, but they're giving me points for finishing last or bottom 3, and it's put me at the same level as Fox. Now, in time, you could turn around and say then that I could get to Fox's level by game time. I could just keep constantly playing for hours on hours and hours on end and end up the same level as Fox. That can't work. That's got to change.
Right, but
like I say,
I think one thing that's probably not been enabled for the beta, and again, remember this is a beta, is that you could be doing you could rank up real quick, but you could also rank down fairly quick as well.
That's it. That's obviously there's got to be some negative side.
And I'm sure
to the
that's
plus
probably
side.
something that's in the game. In the final version, and right now that could be disabled, it could not be there, but I'm sure the guys at Infinity Ward realize this and are actually tracking, is this rate of progression too fast, is it too slow, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
But just one final thing, because I know we've got to start wrapping up, but don't you find that they should at least have been testing a negative system at this point in time? The game ships in 2 months. I'm very surprised that, to me, I'm surprised that they haven't got a negative system for finishing last or, for finishing low. At the minute, they just seem to be handing you points out, and you're basically levelling at the same rate as everybody else if you put the time in. I mean, but like we say, we'll have to wait and see.
This is something that we don't know what's going on behind the scenes at IW, and we'll go from there.
Yeah.
Okay, wow, really long show here. Alright then, Toz, you got a bit of a rant for us then?
Yeah, just as we usually have every week, rant of the week. It's a very, very small one, and it's to do with the EA again. I know we're picking on these, but EA, if you get your acting gear, then maybe we'll leave you alone once in a while. But it's just to do with the release of the FIFA 08 demo that hit the Xbox marketplace this week. Lo and behold, to our UK and European listeners, on we went to see about the current releases, and FIFA 08 was there. But lo and behold, the famous words after it read, "Not available in the UK, Europe and wherever." Now, excuse me, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't football invented in the UK? What are EA playing at? Yes, I know we may get a few complainers saying, well, it was released a few hours later. Yes, it was, I know it was. But the point is, EA, get your acting gear. You're just making mistake after mistake after mistake. How on earth can you release a football game, or soccer, not to the UK first? It is just begs belief. If you went to Major Nelson's blog and saw what was written on there, and yes, I'm on there at least 2 or 3 times, but my God, come on, EA, get it together.
As you said to me last night on Live, Toz, Americans might be saying, "Oh, stop your belly aching." How would they feel if Madden was released over here a few hours earlier than them? They'd be just as miffed as we were.
Well, too right. I put that in my blog post on Major Nelson. You know, let's have Madden 09 out a month before the US, and let's see the.
We're not getting our
there.
American listeners, not whatsoever. But reverse the situation, our American listeners. If Madden was out a month earlier over in the UK, where it's not the national sport, where it's not as big as it is there, you guys would be miffed as hell. And so we're not getting at you guys.
Yeah, I know, but one final thing on that, as you know my feelings on that, we pay the same money for Xbox Live and Marketplace, and it's my giganticest gripe ever that we should not be paying the same money for what we get. We don't get demos, and I'll keep saying it, wherever it's still there. We have still got Pirates of the Caribbean 2 trailer on our Marketplace. We've even got Mission Impossible 3 trailer. You know, we're paying the same money. Microsoft either give us everything we can have or, you know, put the price down. And we're constantly getting screwed with demos. It's day in, day out. It's little wonder we moan. It's just not fair.
All right, well, there's no shame on shatter. Well, actually, no, there's one special shatter I want to do this week because I have to make this up. You know our forum moderator, Nevis. She's with a guy called Van Red. Now, Nevis lives out in California and Van lives out in Alabama. And I didn't know this because I have to apologise, and I'm going to apologise again. Sorry, Nevis. I wasn't reading her blog, and she's actually now moving out to Alabama to be with Van. So I just want to wish those two all the luck in the world. And again, sorry I didn't read the blog. So good luck to Nevis and Van. So does anybody have any shout-outs that they want to do?
Actually, I do. I want to do a shout out to both Kid, Toz, and Fox for basically letting me run my mouth off a little bit more than usual than the rest of you guys. And I want to give a shout out to MrFox from the AJ forums for the Call of Duty 4 token that he sent me. So thanks much, Sampra. I appreciate it, and I'm sure all the other people who took lots and lots of pot shots at me last night and killed me on the COD beta enjoyed that too. So thanks much.
Toz, any shout-outs for you?
I'll just do just a small one to you guys. Been a great show. Great to have you. And I will return on COD, and I will start killing you all very shortly.
In your dreams, pal, in your dreams. Fox, any shout-outs that you want to do?
Yes, I'd like to give a shout-out to Nevis, Primacita40, and also Nelson and Natalie for playing in the Girls vs. Guys game last night. It was a great time, and I want to thank Natalie, Primacita, and Nevis for allowing me to be on the girls' team and helping you guys out.
Woo! All right then. Well, with thanks to my guests of my chief crank, as you all know him, Toz.
Bye, everybody. I shall see you again next week, no doubt.
And to our two guests, Fox.
It's been a pleasure talking to you guys.
And the big loudmouth from Reno himself, MongoBear.
Thanks much for having me on, guys. Appreciate it.
And if you want to get in contact with the show, you can email us at crankygamers@crankygamersuk.com. And if you want to find the website and our forums, please, we could do with some more people. You can find us at crankygamersuk.com. And just a little shout out to let you know, next week we'll be having on the show, hopefully, Frank the Man 661 from XCast and Jeff 123 as well. So join us next week for that one. All right, until next week, I've been your host, Kid Dogg. And until next week, stay cranky.
We are the masters of this disaster.